The 5150 is a great amplifier. I don't think anyone could dispute that. Every local level metal band I've ever seen has some version of it on stage. It's persisted since the 90s as a device that has defined high gain guitar tones alongside other iconic amplifiers like the Joe Rectifier or a hot-rodded Marshall 800. But do we really need any more of them? We had the original PV5150, which was later rebadged the 6505 when Eddie Van Halen jumped ship, and now there are about 1 million different versions under the EVH brand alone, and that's before you factor in all the other companies who are doing their own take on the sound. I personally have the Victory Kraken, whose second gain channel is based on the 5150, and there are pedal versions like TC Electronics V550 digital preamp, which I covered some time ago. But yet, despite enough 5150s in circulation to choke every hippo on the planet, people still keep making them. And how reassuring it is to know that even in death, Eddie Van Halen can never rest, as his corpse will be wrung out for every last rancid drop of name recognition, so that whatever company owns his likeness can claw a few extra dollars from the sale of yet another variant 5150 amplifier. And sadly, never will it cease until all those motivated to open their wallets by the nostalgia of widdly 80s guitar solos are in the grave with them. Speaking of the oppressive capitalist hellscape that permeates every fibre of our existence, Universal Audio have released a new pedal. It's their first foray into high-gain amplifier modelling contained within their widely regarded Stompbox format, and I got the chance to try it out at 42 Gear Street. I bet you'll never be able to guess which amplifier it's based on. In these clips, I'll be playing an EVH Frankenstrat that simply refused to stay in tune. So if you want to moan about that in the comments, go ahead, I'll be right there beside you. I was joined by resident knob fondler John Simons of Sonic Drive Studio, a man who knows a thing or three about distorted amps. Help me go through this red box on the desk, which was kindly supplied by Sweetwater. It's from Universal Audio. This is my first time seeing it. And you're going to guide me through... There's a lot of knobs and switches and technical details, but you're well up on this.
Yeah. Henning showed me how the thing works, and I think I got it down, so...
He's finally delegating tasks.
Yeah.
So what can you tell me about it? All I know so far is that this is perhaps based off of an amplifier from the 90s that had some numbers in the title and might have something to do with the guitar that I'm holding.
Yeah. So it's the 1992 high gain amp, and I'm sure you're familiar with the 5150. Who isn't?
I think most people are.
Yeah.
It's still a very widely used metal amplifier. I see it on stages to this day.
So it does a lot more than I initially thought. I mean, you've got the low, mid, high, you got the presence, the level, and the gain control. But then each control has an alternative setting. So you got a boost down here with overdrive, tone, and level, which obviously a lot of people like to use. And then you got a gate control, resonance, and then you can also change the cabinets. You can load in IRs. It's got 6 cabinets loaded in.
That's too many cabinets.
Yeah. Room emulation, which I think you can only change with the app, which I haven't tried. And then 3 channels, so rhythm, crunch, and lead.
Wow.
Right now it's set to the lead.
I guess we'll give it a little blast and see if it sounds like a 5150, and that is the first test. That guitar is not at all in tune. We should have checked that one before. Yep. I don't know if that B's... Well, it's an Eddie Van Halen. We should flatten it slightly, shouldn't we? That's the magic. How does a detuner work?
I have no idea.
Because I think I've accidentally detuned it to D.
No, it was already.
All right. How do we? Those classic Van Halen riffs that you've come to know and love, just played there like that. It's sounding very harsh at the moment. Have we got an extreme setting on there?
Well, I've got like 666 on the EQ, and then the presence is set quite high.
Oh, we should maybe brighten that presence down. That might be... A long time since on a pinch harmonic. That's the problem. Okay, so that's very high gain, very aggressive. Is that boost on or off?
I think it's off.
Okay.
So it has a lot of gain on tap.
Let's back a gain down a little bit if we can.
You want to stay on the lead channel?
Oh, we're on the lead channel.
Yeah.
Let's punch it down then to the next one. What if we take the gain quite far down?
Yeah, turn the gate down a little bit more.
Engage the boost. I'm now just playing around. I'm interested. If we engage the boost and then start bringing the gain back up and see where we get to with a level here. Give us a little bit of drive, a lot of level, and put the tones somewhere just above the middle. I cannot see how that is. Oh, I can see it on the screen.
So it's like 9 o'clock, 1 o'clock, let's say 2 o'clock.
That seems perfect to me.
Cool.
And then we'll take that pre-gain from the amp and just start to push that back in. Like there's good. I'm gonna get slaughtered for this not being in tune. That's the kind of 5150 sound that I'm a little bit more familiar with. That's how I've been using it.
Yeah.
Does all that thing quite well. So it's getting that 5150 sound once we start to play around with the boosts and the levels there.
Yeah. With these amps, like the crunch channel or the rhythm channel is a little bit more fat and loose, and then the lead channel is like a little bit more tight, but sometimes people prefer the rhythm channel with the boost because it fills it complements it well.
Yeah, having the boost sort of push into the fatter channel and modify the pickup sound coming in gives you a slightly different take on what the lead channel does, I feel. It gives you something you can work with that isn't completely blown out gain-wise. You still get a lot of definition, string articulation. What cabinet setting are we working with here?
UK V30 is what it's currently on, so that's probably a Marshall with V30s.
Yep. The V30 is what we're expecting to see. What other settings do we have for cabinets on? 6 different cabinets, you said?
Yeah, so the first 3 I can actually see what they are. The other ones, I guess.
Are a mystery.
Yeah, a mystery. So the next one is the CA V30.
There's a bottom end comes into that one. I know a lot of guys would like that.
It's the Mesa.
It's the Mesa. It's given that. And what else do we have?
White 75.
More vintage vibed.
A creamback, or
there's
that's what
a
Henry said.
crunchier in there thing.
And then the next three are mystery, but I think that they're smaller cabs. So
okay.
like 212s and stuff.
Not what you'd want. I think that second one's possibly the best of those options for this setting, but that doesn't necessarily mean the rest of them wouldn't work in other applications.
Mm-hmm. And the next setting, I think, is with the cabinet off. So.
Oh yeah.
So that's like for putting it through a power amp, I guess, or lowering
applying
your own IRs.
IRs and posts and all that kind of thing.
It has a store mode, so I guess you can store presets. And in the app, you can also adjust the post gain. So perhaps you can add power amp saturation, but we can't use the app right now.
In terms of the 5150, you're a familiar user with the 5150?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
You've seen them. Have you got a favorite model or version? Is it the PV? Is it the EVH? Is it the?
Well, they're quite different. Like some people think that they are the same. I like the 6505.
I think
they're the same. Yeah. Well, to me, the 6505, which is the one that I have, is a little bit more, fizzy and a bit more fat, and the EVHs tend to be a bit more focused and tight. But I think they're all cool. They all do the job, and I think that this thing sounds pretty,
Where does this sit amongst the ones you've heard?
It sounds very close to my 6505 1992 original.
For me, for my ears which go, oh yeah, it's a 5150, it sounds like a 5150. And if you want it in that form factor with those features, my only concern for people who've got 5150 is they've probably already got one. like why would you want this if you've already got one? But I suppose if you're doing an ampless rig, and you just want something compact with those features for a pedal board, that's a great way to get the sounds. And it doesn't sound at all bad, and there's plenty of cabinet options.
Yeah. And you can even add your own IRs, so that's pretty cool.
Which is always a fantastic feature to have.
Yeah.
I mean, you get preferences. If none of those take your fancy, but I would suggest sticking with that Recto one. That sounds, it really beefs up that low end in a way that's nice.
Yeah, agreed.
Sweet. Well, thank you very much for showing me that one. If you're interested in the UA, what's it actually called? I've not even seen the name of it. That's embarrassing.
Anti-1992 high gain amp.
Anti-1992 high gain amp. There we are. There'll be links in the description, I'm sure. And you can check it out if you don't already have one of the many 5150 products on the market. So, do we need any more 5150s? Probably not, but they're gonna keep making them anyway. And if you want that sound without the bulk of the genuine amplifier, then the UA Anti-1992 is certainly an option that exists. It does have a very produced sound. It doesn't sound like the amplifier raw in the room. Rather, it sounds like the amplifier professionally recorded and post-processed. It sounds like what I'd expect it to sound like on an album, which might be exactly what you're after for a direct-to-desk feed. Thanks again to Sweetwater for providing the gear used in this video. Links can be found in the description. Keep it loud and stay safe. Real talk, guys, that solo was the worst part of Beat It.